y'all would like to, just while I'm talking, if y'all just want to like raise your hand and ask a question related to this, that's fine. I just want to keep y'all engaged because I think you will want to hear, I'm hoping you'll want to hear what I have to say. All right, so to start out, I'm just going to read from Isaiah because we're talking about God and the Bible, so, you know. If any of y'all have your Bibles, turn to Isaiah 41, if y'all want to. It's awkward, oh my gosh. Okay, well, in Isaiah 41, it says, "Be silent before me, you..." This text is so tiny, I'm sorry. "You islands, let the nations renew their strength. Let them come forward and speak. Let us meet together at the place of judgment. Who has stirred up one from the east, calling him in righteous to his service, and hands nations over to him, and subdues kings before him? He turns them to dust with his sword, and to wind-blown chaff with his bow. He pursues them and moves on unscathed, by a path his feet have not traveled before. Who has done this and carried it through, calling forth to the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, the first of them, and with the last, I am he. The islands have seen it and fear. The ends of the earth tremble. They approach and come forward. They help each other and say to their companions, be strong. To the mental worker encourages the goldsmith, and the one who smooths with the hammer spurs on the one who strikes the anvil. One says of the welding, it is good. The other nails down the idol so it will not topple. But you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, who I have chosen, you descendants of Abraham, my friend. I took you from the ends of the earth, from the farthest corners I called you. I said, you are my servant. I have chosen you, not rejected you. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Wow. Okay, well, that's pretty good. And I think, especially verse 10 right there, it says, do not fear, for I am with you. Us as human beings, we don't have to fear because God is always with us. It also says, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. We don't have to be frustrated. We don't have to fear because God is with us. And it also, the last part, it says, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. He will be with us. He will help us. He will guide us along the way. Now, I know as humans, we tend to fear. We tend to get frustrated at times. I know me from my experiences. But the good news is it really got me closer to God. So I would say I got saved when I was 7 years old. I was lucky enough to grow up in a good Christian home. I was raised right. I was raised pretty good. I really just grew up in a great home. When I was 7, I made the choice to follow Jesus as a 7-year-old, which is a big deal. But to be honest, I don't think I really understood the full circumstances of it. Now, I admitted that I was a sinner. I believed in my heart that Jesus rose us from the dead. I confessed my faith in Jesus Christ, but I guess I never really understood the full thing. How many of you have been to Vacation Bible School? Yes. Okay, so when we were in arts and crafts, I think like every year we made this bracelet, and it had like the little colored beads on it. And I'm going off of memory, so this may be wrong, but it started out with yellow, because yellow is the light. God is the light. God is the way. God is perfect. And then it goes to black, because our sin is dark. It's not good. And then it goes to red, because Jesus' blood is it. Jesus sacrificed himself for us, so that way our sin can go away. Then it goes to white, because God has wiped our sin out. And then green is to grow. Grow your faith in Jesus Christ. And I think that is what I was missing right there, to just really grow my faith. All started really in 7th grade. It was a new school year, new school, and just fresh start. And it started out with, I would say, football. How many of y'all like football? Love it. I grew up with the sport. It's a big deal in my family. Every Thanksgiving we watch the Alabama-Auburn game, we'll tie. And so, such a lovely crowd. All right. Now, when I played, I was always the quarterback, so I was always the man in charge. I was always ready. And this was my first year to play for really a school team for the school, and that was going to be awesome. And I was just ready for my opportunity. Now I knew what I was getting into. The kids on the football team, they're not the nicest people, but it doesn't matter. This was my chance to really prove myself. Well, never really got that chance. Junior high coaches are not very good, in fact, there was this one guy, he wasn't even the head coach, he was the assistant coach. He was just a bully. That's the only way to put it. He would always make fun of the kids that didn't play, the smaller kids, just because he could. He was tough. He was a older guy. He had authority over us. And he just thought he could pick on, the smallest guys. He liked to pick on me because I'm not strong. I mean, I'm not strong at all. This thing will snap at any moment. I remember one particular incident. We were doing a hitting drill. Granted, I'm not made to tackle people, but that's okay. I was on one side, and then I think from the other side of the room, there was an 8th grader. And I'm like, all right, this is my chance. I'm going to light up an 8th grader. I'm a big bad 7th grader, and I'm going to hit the upperclassman or whatever. And, the guy comes in, and he stops the whole drill, and he goes, no, you're not going to hit him. And he's like, you're going to hit this kid. He brings him over. This kid has autism. And he brings him over, and he goes, Blake, I want you to lay him out, and I want you to make sure he never gets up. And I go, whoa. I'm like, no, that's wrong. Why would I do that? And he goes, Blake, you don't need to feel bad for him. It's his fault for being out here. And those words just, I don't know. I couldn't believe someone had the audacity to think that. So I ended up doing the drill correctly, for as good as I can do it. And I think that just wasn't good enough for him. So he proceeds to stop the drill, calls the whole team over to this one spot, and he goes, look how much of a baby Blake is, and proceeds to call me names that I'm really not going to say because we're in church. So it was not great. And when you're the coach, you set the example. And so when you do something, the players do something. So he's making fun of me, the players are making fun of me. Soon the whole team thinks I'm a little wimp. And it wasn't good. It wasn't good to start the school year, but it's all right. I started school. School, I was never the most popular kid. I got excited there. I always really got along with everybody. I mean, I was kind of well known because it's not every day you see a tall redhead roaming around. And I really, I never really had issues with many people, maybe a few people here and there, but I really just tried to be friendly. I got along with most people, but that really just kind of, I guess, fell down the drain in junior high. First day of school was whatever. Second day of school, Third day, I get to science class, I believe, and I go sit by this kid, and I'm not really close friends with this kid. Maybe talked to him once or twice in band or whatever, but I went to go sit by him because I didn't have a seat, and he looks at me and goes, why are you sitting by me? And I'm like, I don't have a place to sit. I like to sit somebody that I, have good conversations with. And he goes, no, you're not going to sit here because you're annoying, and I don't like you. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so I walked off, but it wasn't just that one incident. Usually stuff like this really doesn't bother me, but it started to just kind of become like a butterfly effect. It was just the next person and the next person. Just random people here and there. Oh, there's the annoying redhead. Nobody likes him. Stay away from him. They'd make fun of me in class. They would just, I don't know. And I'm not trying to play the victim card, but that's just how it was. I was constantly made fun of. They didn't like me. And I had kids I didn't even know just coming at me. It just was like, wow, really? And it was not good, but I still had lunch. Lunch was, needless to say, I don't talk to any of these kids anymore. The kids I sat with at lunch were just the most ungodly people, I swear. They were talking about drugs and doing drugs and making perverse comments, and I'm like, I'm trying to eat, please stop. And it was just something I didn't want to be around, but I had nowhere else to go, and I had one friend at that table, so I thought, hey, maybe I can fit in. And, constantly they'd make fun of me, but I had nowhere else to go. I had no one to talk to. So I just felt like, this is it. This is all I got. So if someone's gonna make fun of me, that's fine. It'll turn into a conversation. It wouldn't be a long conversation, it'd just be, good way. So, I remember one time, in fact, our quarterback for the team told me, he stood up and he got everyone's attention. He said, hey, Blake, I just want you to know that we keep you here to make fun of you. I just want you to know that. And I was like, oh, okay. And I knew that was going on, but I just wanted somebody to talk to. I just wanted somebody to listen. And, of course, I knew that was going on, but for him to say that just made it 10 times more real. And it was not looking good. Well, I still got to sit there. And then there was a fight at school between two guys over a girl. Men, never tell a girl you love them when dating them for only 2 months. Never ends well. I love to look at all the girls when I say that. I'm talking to y'all. Okay. So, it was over something really dumb. And, it was a stereotypical high school fight. So there's junior high fight. There was guys all around, and they're like, yeah, whatever. And I walk in, and this little blonde boy, and he's probably skinnier than me, and I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? So I pull him out, and I'm like, dude, no, this ain't it. Like, come on. And, because why get suspended over a stupid little high school fight you're gonna forget about in a year? It's just not worth it to me, and it was really just a dumb situation. So I pulled him out and I said, hey man, I said, no. And he's like, and he thanked me. He didn't fight, he thanked me, he went on his way, whatever. Well, that didn't make the lunch people too happy. In fact, I think one of them, who I really did think was my friend, came to me and he said, why would you do that? And I said, because it's the right thing to do. Why? Like, why would I want to see that? And he goes, Blake, I don't even want to be associated with you because you're annoying, nobody likes you, you're a goody Christian boy, and why would anyone care enough to hear what you have to say? And I was like, wow. He's like, don't sit with me at lunch. So I go home, and I get really upset. And that ain't the first time that happened that year. But I remember this night in particular, I just got really upset. And this may have been like halfway into the school year. So I would get so upset throughout the year that I just couldn't even think straight. Like it was bad, there were some things that I could have done better. Like someone may have been playing with me and called me a butthead, and maybe it rubbed me the wrong way, and I called them something 10 times worse, and then we hit each other. So it really I just had a really bad state of mind. I was really just upset all the time. But it's times like these when you feel like you have nobody that you realize who your true friends are. There's actually 4 of them. 2 of them are sitting right there. Don't make me embarrass you. Love you. There's Nathan. There's Seth. And the other 2, love you, Caleb. You don't go to my school, so you don't get to be in the story. I'm sorry. Maybe next time. Anyway, and then the other 2 are Christian, and if you don't know Christian, he's a little boy. He screams a lot. He's the one who you think does drugs before coming, okay? And then there's Davis, and for those of y'all who don't know Davis, and there's probably very little of y'all who remember him. He used to come here all the time, but he moved away to Oklahoma. But those 4 guys they're pretty much the only friends I had. I don't even like to call them my friends. I like to call them my brothers because they're so close to me. And when I had nothing, they were there for me. Davis, he was the only person that knew what was going on. I didn't even tell my parents that I was so upset, which is something I regret because it's way tough. It's so tough telling them after what was going on. Davis would call me every night. He'd be like, hey, how was your day? And he would let me talk to him, and he'd be like, all right, this is how we can make your day better. This is what you can do. I'm praying for you, Blake. It's going to be okay. Seth, he didn't go to my school either, but Seth, every Friday night, I'm sorry, Caleb, it's just not done. Seth, every Friday night, our families ate out. My dad and his mom were close friends, so we would eat out, and Seth had no clue what was going on, but he treated me with nothing but kindness and respect. He would listen to me all the time. And Nathan and Christian saw this unfold before their eyes, but they never knew how I felt about it. Like I said, though, this is when you realize who true friends are. I get a call that night from Christian, and he goes, Blake, I just want to let you know that those kids are making fun of you in a group chat, and they're calling me things that I'm not going to say, but they're just being ugly, and that just made things, that took it from here to here. I got even more upset. But Christian said, Blake, I told him to stop, and I told him that's not cool. And I went, what? He went, yeah, I really did. Christian has that, they love him at that table. Christian still talks to these guys. They were his close friends, and he has enough guts to say no. At the end of the day, I'm going to do what's right. That's what I knew. Christian was a good friend. And Christian said, I'm going to sit with you at lunch tomorrow. Nathan, same thing. He said he's going to sit with me at lunch tomorrow. Those guys really came through for me when it mattered. But it doesn't mean the school year got any better. I still got made fun of. It probably got worse. Kids that I thought I was close to, maybe like I had some chance of being friends with, nothing. And it just wasn't happening. So finally, at the end of the school year, I made the decision, I'm going to be homeschooled next year. I can't do it. I can't do another year of this. Now, I know all my homeschool friends are like, yes, why didn't you come? But no. I love Covington High, and I began to like the winning picture, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I was done. I pretty much got bullied out of there. I couldn't take it anymore, but I didn't tell my parents. So I said, I'm just going to think about it over the summer. School year went by. Summer went by, not school year. Summer went by, and it was interesting. I mean, nothing big happened, nothing bad happened. It was just the school year. It was summer. Woo! All right. And I get to, I'm at church, and I'm playing basketball with Caleb. Got you. Yeah. And some other people. And, church was really all I had because at least these kids were nice to me. I mean, they didn't know what was going on, but at least they were nice. At least they smiled, at least they weren't all, So, it's no. And so Dad picks me up and he goes, Blake, you failed your physical. I had to get a physical for the next football season because I was still enrolled in public school, so my plan was just to play. He said, Blake, you failed your physical. And I go, what? What does that mean? He goes, Blake, you might have Marfan syndrome. Marfan syndrome is, how your heart, when you get real energized, or where you are running or whatever, your heart beats really fast. Well, people with Marfan syndrome, when their heart beats fast, it expands and then it eventually explodes. So he was basically telling me if I have this, that I won't be able to play sports anymore. And that's all I had. I was the star goalkeeper at pitcher, but though my teammates hated me, it didn't matter. That's all I had. The little time that I could be spending outside playing basketball or doing something at church, it was getting taken away from me. And I was upset. Now, granted, I think I overreacted that night because everything did end up being okay. But I'm glad I did. I get home, and I'm losing it. I can't believe what's going on. And I'm like, God, what do you want from me? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Why are you doing this to me? What do you want from me? And God was telling me the whole time. I just wasn't listening. So I opened my Bible to John 13, and it's the story about Jesus washing the disciples' feet. And I'm like, ew. And I just look at one verse in particular, and that's all it took. It was John 13:7. And this verse I will live by for the rest of my life. It says, and Jesus replied, you may not understand what I'm doing right now, but soon you will. And I thought, whoa. In context, it's talking about Jesus was washing his disciples' feet. He was telling them, you may not get it, but soon you will. I took it a different way. I took it as I don't know why all these bad things are happening to me. I don't know why I'm going through this. But soon I will understand why. Maybe it's preparing me for something else, and I just need to trust the process. So I went, all right, you know what, God? It's your hands. You take it. And needless to say, 8th grade was probably the best year of my life. I loved it. And, some people tell me, oh, Blake, it's because you got mature. Oh, Blake, it's because 7th grade was rough for all of us. No, I don't think that's what it was at all. For me personally, maybe them. But for me personally, it was because I had a change of perspective. It was because I started to put God first. It's because I grew my relationship with God. So I have hope, I have this faith. Now the other question is, what do we do with our faith? What do we do with this hope we have? What does God call us to do with this hope that we have? Well, Matthew 28 talks about the Great Commission. I'm going to read this real fast. It says, Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything that I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the end of the age. Jesus is telling us we need to go, we need to make disciples of all nations everywhere. And he'll be with us till the very end. We don't need to just, for those of us who do have faith, we don't need to just, I have faith, we need to go out and share it. And we need to keep loving and praying for people. And I know it's hard. I go to public school. I go to I go to school with kids that just drink and they do drugs and they're stupid. They're just so dumb. Not to be ugly about them. They're typical teenagers. And it's like, instead of calling them dumb, like I just did, sorry. We need to just keep loving on them. We need to be the light. We need to be the one that is out. We need to be the one that stands out. Like kind of how it was at the lunch table. And even if we do get that backlash, don't worry about it. You know, I get backlash now in classes because maybe I am a little too much, which guilty as charged. But I don't worry about what people have to say about me because I know God still loves me. And I know I have friends that do love me, that whole row right there. And there's more of y'all out there, Carter, my man, and Noah. But there's plenty of y'all out here that, you want me to call y'all out all by name? We don't got time for that. There's too many. But I have friends that love and care about me. And I know God loves and cares about me. So I'm going to keep doing what I have to do. And I know it's hard. Trust me. How many times I've shared my faith with people and they've given me just crazy answers. And I'm not calling any specific person out when I say this, because this has happened to me way too many times, like 5 or 6, and it just sends chills down my spine. I've had many people tell me, Blake, if I'm wrong, if you're right, and you go to heaven, and I go to hell, I deserve that. That's what I should do, and that makes me sick. And it's not because I'm mad at them. It's because I'm trying to share the good news to you, and you just won't do it. The devil is working in them, and they just refuse to believe it, and I can't believe it, because some of these people I really love and care about dearly, and it's so hard. To hear that, too, it just makes you want to give up, like, oh my gosh, they're never going to change, but you know, you can't give up. You got to keep loving on these people. Whether you like them or not, you got to keep loving on these people. We got to be the ones that stand out, because it is hard. I know it's hard. But you know, you got to keep praying for these people, the ones that you love and care about. You got to pray for the people that you really don't like. You got to just really care and show love to these people, because you don't know what they're going through. You really don't. Nobody knew what I was going through. You would never know nothing was wrong with me, and it could be the same for them. So just go out and be the light, whether you go to homeschool, private school, public school, or you don't go to school at all, which is illegal, but you know. If you don't go to school, that's cool. Not my business. But, you know, just share God wherever you can and be the light, because it's what God calls us to do. It's the right thing to do. I'll leave you with this. My grandfather recently passed away. I recently lost my grandfather. And that was a shock. No, it wasn't to COVID, but it really just kind of shook us all. But right before, the day before he passed away, my mom was in the car and she was telling us, hey, if you get anything away from your pawpaw, you just know that no matter how hard it was, he did the right thing. He's done things for many, many different people. You never know about it, because he didn't do it for fame. He did it because it was the right thing to do. He did it because he wanted to show God's glory. And I was like, yeah, it's a pretty good trait to have. Dad gets back from the hospital, tells us, look, it's not looking good. And we're all preparing for the worst. And I get a text on my phone from this person. Now, this person has treated me wrong, time and time again, treated my friends wrong time and time again. And it's really hard to love on these people. Like I said, people that you don't like, you gotta keep loving on them. And they text me and they go, hey, I'm about to lose someone in the hospital. So they just tell me that. So my initial thought was, okay, that's a you problem. I was gonna walk off. But then I thought about what my mom said in the car, and I was like, wow, am I really about to do this? Because I know this person doesn't have any hope. The things they have said to me, I know they don't have any hope. Am I really about to just do that? And I remember, what's the last thing I needed to say? I love you, Paul. So I picked up my phone and I said, look, I'm praying for you. I'm in the same situation, but I'm praying for you. Do you know that? And they said whatever they had to say. Of course, they didn't say I'm praying for you back, but that's all right. And instead of begging God to not take away my grandfather, because my grandfather's a great man. He's a Vietnam veteran. He's a state trooper. He worked his butt off all his life. And he's gone through many, many things. But he had hope. He was a good Christian man. He was a good role model for a lot of people. And he had hope. And I know that I'll see him again one day. I can't say the same for this other person, that they'll see their friend or whoever it was again. So I prayed to him. Instead of begging God to not take away my grandfather, I just said, look, I don't know this person's situation, but you do. Just give him peace. Let them know everything's going to be okay. I have this opportunity to really reach out to this person. That next day, my grandfather did pass away, but I cannot wait to get to heaven and hear Paul say, good job. You did good. I can't wait to get to heaven and God say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Because that's what we're called to do. Those who do have hope, we're called to do that. We're called, they could be our bully, they could be the bully at school, they could be just the annoying kid at lunch. I don't care. But you gotta keep loving on these people, and you gotta keep caring about these people. Because I want someone else, because maybe someone else sees it and they go, wow, they really get on Blake's nerves. But he's still nice to him, he still cares about him. Why is that? So, all I'm saying is, for those of you who do have hope, share it. For those of you who don't have hope, know I'm praying for you. I know many other people are. Because we do care about you. And I love and care about a lot of people that don't have hope. Because it's really just it's a tough kind of thing to deal with. But you know that God loves you, and you know that God did sacrifice himself for you. And let me be completely honest, I can't fathom if all of this was tall tale, if all of this was a folk tale, if Jesus was just some mentally insane person, I want to know why did he die? Why did he die willingly? It's like if all of this was fake. Historians can't deny this, though. Jesus Christ was a man who walked on this earth. He did, and he did die. Historians can't deny that. No scientist can deny you that. What a scientist can deny you is he what he says he is. And I know from my personal experience he is. But what if he's not? What if I am psycho? What if all of us are psycho? I don't know. Jesus, as a man, if we're thinking of him as a man, he did die for us. Okay, whether he is what he said he is or not, he did die for us. And I gotta respect that, personally me. If this man is crazy, good. I'm glad I know that I can live my life without fear, and I'm glad that this man did willingly die for me, because I have hope. If I get diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, I have hope. If I get hit in a car accident, I have hope, because I don't have to live my life in fear, because Jesus Christ takes care of me, and he's gonna take care of all of y'all, whether you like him or not. He loves you, and he made all of y'all. All right, I'm gonna pray real quick. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for all of these people that have come. Lord, I just pray that you're with some of these people because you don't know what they're going through. And Lord, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to really speak tonight. I hope I touched somebody's life. And Lord, just be with us as we get home, as we hang out, and just help us all get home safe. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.